And you'll know the old pet insurance argument here at Animal Radio still continues. I, of course, as I've mentioned many times, I just put a lot of money away into my account, a little bit every month. It gains a little bit of interest, and if anything happens to my animals, I have it there for them. And that way I get to keep my money. I don't have to pay a premium. Everybody's looking at me
I know. See, I have a problem just because I see pet owners that there's no way that if you have multiple pets that you can adequately prepare for those catastrophic things that can happen. And that's where I think that system can work for some things, but when you get to some of the big, oh my gods, when those happen, there's no way you're going to have, $3,000 that you can spread across, all of your multiple pets if they all have some kind of event.
Yeah,
I know. I got stuck with one. I had 2 surgeries on my dog. One was $3,000, one was $3,500, and
you ended up using Care Credit.
I used Care Credit on the first one and paid it off. If you pay it off like in 6 months, you don't have to pay.
Oh, really?
Interest. Yes.
You're not paying that 99% interest?
No. I was able to pay it off, and the second time I was a little more prepared, so I didn't have to borrow for that one.
Yeah.
But still, that was a lot of money I had to fork over. So I'm sorry I didn't get him pet insurance when she was younger.
Well, yeah, and you know what? They might have turned you down anyway, especially if it was after the first surgery and before the second surgery.
She might not have been covered for the second surgery.
It might have been
on the other leg.
I'm not sure exactly. I do know that each insurance company has their very own set of policies and rules and what they will cover and what they won't cover. But I understand now there's a third alternative. And
what could that be?
Yeah, I know. Dr. Alan Kamavra is joining us. He's a physician and surgeon, and he's the founder of USO, the cheapest alternative to pet insurance. And he joins us right now. Doctor, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
So what is this great alternative?
Yeah, so we just went live in the last month. And really what we're saying is we can now, because technology has really changed the world, we talk about the sharing economy. But a lot of what we're doing in the world now is actually the just-in-time economy, where you can pay things or things happen on the spot rather than having to build up and form these large pools of money, which is the traditional model, and having some centralized kind of company in the center to manage this large pool of money and pay things when they happen. And so we've built a platform that's really kind of a just-in-time financing model for when the unexpected happens.
I know nothing about financials or that whole. You're going to have to explain it to me. But why is it different than insurance?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we think about what insurance is at its base, it's just crowdfunding. We all kind of forget because it's this huge company that we've just become to accept as status quo. But really, they collect from all of us in the form of premiums and then hold it captive in some fund, and are supposed to pay that back out when things happen. The problem with that model always was, and we were really limited to it because of tech, was that they make their money off that premium pool. So these companies have every incentive to make sure our premiums are as high as possible, and to pay out as little as they can at the end of the year because their profits are based on that fund. But there was really no better way to do it because of a lot of tech limitations. And we're saying we've reached a point now where that's an antiquated model. We can connect people through their mobiles and their web and build virtual communities that essentially promise to one another that they're going to help each other. And so when things happen, you actually have a community that is ready and willing, and that guarantee is there that they're going to chip in through micropayments to help things basically be covered or paid for when it happens. And it brings down the cost tremendously by getting rid of that essentially kind of thick bureaucratic layer in the middle.
What if everybody gets sick? What if everybody's animal gets sick? It seems like this couldn't be guaranteed.
It can actually, though. So fortunately, by and large, that happens not that frequently at all. But even if it does, the scale of the system is enough to even cover that. And so we've actually had the model validated by multiple reinsurance companies and kind of higher level up. So not insurance companies, which is what we're used to, but there's actually insurance for the insurances in the world. And so they're called reinsurance. And so they get involved when there's those catastrophic clash events, when all of a sudden everything happens at once, which isn't expected, for instance. And they would help get involved in those rare circumstances. And so we can guarantee to our members that what our members do is basically put in a deposit, and that deposit rolls over each month that it's not used. But if something happens, we draw from that fund micropayments, and they replenish that deposit each month.